So, have you ever thought about why some people are just so driven to do things without any obvious reward?
Yeah, it's intriguing. What's behind that?
Well, it's fascinating, really. Back in the 1940s, Harry Harlow did these experiments with monkeys. He
Oh,
gave them puzzles to solve without any incentives. And you know what? They solved them just for the fun of it.
wait, no rewards at all?
Exactly. They were intrinsically motivated. Then, in the 1970s, Edward Deci did similar studies with humans using puzzles, and he found that external rewards actually decreased their motivation.
That's counterintuitive. I thought rewards made people work harder.
You'd think so, but it's the opposite in many cases. This is what's called the Sawyer effect, based on Tom Sawyer, you know?
Oh, when he got his friends to paint the fence by making it seem fun?
Exactly,
Haha.
turning work into play. But when you add external rewards, it can turn play into work. The intrinsic motivation vanishes.
So what does this mean for how we motivate people?
It means we need to rethink our whole approach. The traditional model, Motivation 2.0, is based on extrinsic rewards and punishments. But that doesn't work in today's world, especially for complex tasks.
So what's the alternative?
Motivation 3.0, which is built on autonomy, mastery, and purpose. It's about tapping into people's intrinsic motivation.
Can you elaborate on autonomy?
Sure, autonomy is about giving people control over the 4 T's: their task, time, technique, and team. When people have autonomy, they're more engaged and productive. Take Atlassian, for example. They have FedEx days, where employees can work on any project they want for 24 hours.
And they have to deliver overnight? Clever name.
Exactly. And it leads to amazing innovations because people have the freedom to explore.
But doesn't that require a lot of trust from management?
It does, but the benefits outweigh the risks. When people feel trusted, they take ownership of their work.
I see, but what about jobs that are more routine? Don't external rewards work there?
That's a good point. For routine tasks, extrinsic rewards can be effective. But for creative, complex work, they can hinder performance.
So we need to be careful about how we use incentives?
Absolutely. It's not one size fits all. Understanding the type of task is crucial.
Makes sense. So, back to autonomy. You mentioned time as one of the T's?
Yes, letting people control their time can boost productivity. Like, the company that went to a results-only work environment, or ROW. People work when and where they want, as long as the work gets done.
That sounds liberating, but could it lead to chaos?
Surprisingly, it often leads to higher engagement and lower turnover. People appreciate the flexibility.
Interesting. What about mastery? How does that fit in?
Mastery is the desire to get better at something that matters. It's about continuous improvement and being in a state of flow.
Flow? That's when you're fully immersed in an activity, right?
Exactly. When the challenge matches your skill level and time seems to fly by. It's essential for achieving mastery.
But mastery is an ongoing process, isn't it?
Yes, and that's the beauty of it. It's like an asymptote. You get closer and closer but never quite reach it.
So it keeps you striving for improvement.
Exactly, and that's inherently motivating.
And purpose ties it all together?
Yes, purpose is about contributing to something larger than ourselves. When people see the meaningful impact of their work, it fuels their motivation.
Right.
Think of companies that have strong missions. Their employees are often more engaged.
So, bringing it all together, to motivate people effectively, we need to focus on intrinsic factors.
Exactly. By fostering autonomy, encouraging mastery, and connecting to purpose, we can tap into that intrinsic motivation.
But it's a big shift from traditional management practices.
It is, but the science supports it. Companies that embrace Motivation 3.0 principles often outperform those that stick with carrots and sticks.
That makes sense, but I wonder how this applies in education.
Great question. In schools, when teachers support students' autonomy, students tend to be more engaged and perform better.
So rather than controlling every aspect, teachers should guide and facilitate?
Exactly. Encourage exploration and emphasize learning over grades.
This really challenges conventional thinking.
It does. But it's time we update our motivational operating system.
Agreed.
The old models don't fit our modern needs.
So to sum up, we need to move from type X behavior, driven by extrinsic factors, to type Y behavior fueled by intrinsic motivation.
Precisely. And by doing so, we can unlock higher levels of performance and satisfaction.
It's a fascinating shift. Do you think organizations are ready for this change?
Some are already making the transition. And with the pace of change today, I think more will follow. It's about embracing human nature, not fighting it.
Well, it's certainly food for thought.
Definitely. So, next time we think about motivation, maybe we'll consider what's really driving us beneath the surface.
Absolutely. It's been an enlightening discussion.
Glad you think so.